Welcome to VLSI Technology course with a new lecture series, that is Molecular Beam Epitaxy process. In last class of VLSI Technology, we will discuss the vapor phase epitaxy process. So without any time waste, let's start our class. Earlier in my channel we have seen that the epitaxy system or the epitaxy process classified into three groups: liquid phase epitaxy, vapor phase epitaxy, and the molecular beam epitaxy process. And also I have already told you that for silicon we usually use vapor phase epitaxy process, and we have learned it so far. Okay. Today I want to discuss the molecular beam epitaxy process or the molecular beam epitaxy system. So, we have discussed the basic concept of molecular beam epitaxy process or the introduction part of the molecular beam epitaxy process. Okay. So, the first part is the molecular beam epitaxy process is a physical evaporation system or a physical evaporation process. That means with no chemical reaction involved in it. Okay. And there is a basic difference between molecular beam epitaxy and the other epitaxy system. Now we compare the merits and the demerits of molecular beam epitaxy process with respect to the vapor phase epitaxy that we have been seen in our previous class. Okay. So what is the merit? The first major advantage of the MBE process or the molecular beam epitaxy process, that is, it is comparatively low temperature processing compared to vapor phase epitaxy, and this is the great advantage. That's why the effect of auto doping is minimized. You know, auto doping is basically because of out diffusion from the substrate into the layer. Layer, that means which layer? I mean epitaxial layer. Okay. And vice versa. As well as its evaporation from the substrate and the reintroduction from the gas stream. Both these process will be happen at higher temperature. So if I can have a low temperature process, that will be minimized. Then I can have less of auto doping problem. Okay. So by using the molecular beam epitaxy process, we can easily minimize the effect of auto doping. Okay. The second advantage is molecular beam epitaxy process have very precise control of doping. This is the second merit of MBE. That is, we have precise control of doping. What is precise control of doping? This because there is absolutely no chemical reaction taking place. So basically we are talking about a physical evaporation system, right? Along with when we evaporating silicon, we can evaporate measured quantity of dopant. So the control of dopant incorporation is much more precise, right? So we can say that the growth rate can be more precisely controlled. Okay. So depending on this, we can grow thin and thick layer of epitaxial layer. So depending on how thin or thick we want our epitaxial layer, one can control the growth rate. Okay. So if we remember the VP process or the vapor phase epitaxy process, we remember that for vapor phase epitaxy, the growth rate little bit high. It becomes much more difficult to obtain a thin layer. And the other problem of VPE process is the auto doping, because VPE process is a high temperature process. So molecular beam epitaxy system eliminate both these problem. It will give us smaller growth rate as well as by minimizing the auto doping problem. Okay. So we can grow a very thin layer with precise control of doping. So we have much better control over epitaxial layer. The last advantage is in molecular beam epitaxy process there is no boundary layer problem. This is the most important advantage. Remember, all VP process is prone to boundary layer problem. What is boundary layer problem? The growth rate will not be equal all through the chamber. We have taken some special precaution to control the growth rate throughout the chamber. What are these precautions? Like tilting the substrate holder or increasing the gas flow rate or by reducing the pressure in order to minimize the boundary layer problem. But in molecular beam epitaxy process, we do not have this problem. I mean, we do not have this boundary layer problem. Okay, so this is the basic concept of molecular beam epitaxy process or the molecular beam epitaxy system. The first advantage, molecular beam epitaxy process is a physical evaporation system. Second advantage is it is comparatively low temperature process. Third advantage is molecular beam epitaxy process have very precise control of doping. And the last advantage is in molecular beam epitaxy process there is no boundary layer problem. All these four advantages is compared with the other epitaxy system or the vapor phase epitaxy system. Okay. So here I end this today's topic. Hope you understand this topic. In next class, we will discuss the molecular beam epitaxy system. How we can grow the epitaxial layer. Okay. Thank you. If you like my channel, then please like, share and subscribe my channel.